Yo guys, sorry, you already know that today I am going to be recapping week 23 of my 2025 video game backlog. Link in the description if you need the full explanation of this video and the games on it and all that stuff, yada yada yada. Last week I forgot. I literally brought up the sheet and I was just like, oh yeah, I didn't finish Cocoon at the start of last week. Yeah, so this last week has been a little bit crazy. I'm a little my brain's a little disheveled from a long day at work, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so where we left off, I was playing Cocoon and Uncharted 2, as well as Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I am going to update the list. Before I go ahead and do that, wow, how I'm going to format this is like I do every week, where I'm going to recap the previous week, then I will dive deeper into each of the game that I played for the week, and then I will preview the upcoming week. So yeah, in terms of like life stuff, you know, this past week was pretty normal, I guess. I'm, you know, transitioning to a new role at work, which has been very fun. Like legitimately, I'm settling in well, but it has been tiring, especially the past couple of days. But in terms of how that affects the backlog, it really has not. So that is, you know, exciting. So let's go ahead and update the what has happened. So the what has happened is I have finished Cocoon. That happened maybe the day after I uploaded the last video or something like that. We've got Uncharted 2, which has been finished. I believe my hours should be at 9:52. I'm gonna have to double check the math on this, but I looked up before, so this should be gone, and that should be gone. So yeah, I think that should be correct. I put more time into Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I didn't actually get an accurate count, but the last time I looked, I think it was somewhere in that range. So I might have a couple hours under, I might have a couple hours over. I'm not entirely sure, but I've played probably more Clair Obscur this week than I have any other weeks. So that was really exciting. In terms of games that I started, I did start playing BioShock, so that's super exciting. And I started playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So I just decided to, you know, do some different things, and I almost started another game, but I did not. Some things of note to say about this past week is this past week was the release of the Switch 2, which I have no interest in. I don't want to say I have no interest in, but I have no interest in like right now, like maybe not even this year. So that is not something that I'm really putting any like effort towards or really consideration towards. I have my backlog. I have other games, like new games coming out that I'd like to play, but none of them are on the Switch 2, at least not till maybe next year. I will revisit that later. I'm just not really interested. I think I'm also not super interested in Elden Ring Night Rain anymore. Just the more that I hear about it, the more it seems like you should have a group of 3 people to play with to maximize the fun potential. And then at that point, I don't know, there's just so many things about it that I'm just like, at best, it's going to be like a decent to good game. And I feel like I'd rather spend my time playing, you know, games that have a higher ceiling of potential. So I don't think I'm going to be playing that. So that still opens up a little bit more in terms of like room to play games. But I will give specific updates in terms of like where I am on these games, and I'll give you a little sneak peek as to another game that I almost started. Is I did install Nine Souls on my Xbox, so that is probably coming sooner rather than later. That was not one of the ones that I had expected, but you know, I just kind of felt like I could play another Xbox game because I didn't want to sit at my computer and I didn't want to go out in the living room where I generally play my PlayStation games. And I was like, well, what if I just install an Xbox game? And that the 26-hour mark seemed really appealing, especially because it's different than the other games that I'm playing right now. So I think that is everything that I wanted to bring up in terms of, you know, the games and the week and the industry and all that stuff. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just start talking about all the games that I played this week, one at a time. So let's go ahead and just start with the ones that I finished. I'm going to start with Cocoon because I don't have much more to say. Again, I legitimately forgot that I did not have it finished by last week's upload. I don't have much to say other than the fact that I essentially followed a walkthrough for like the last hour of the game. Like, it's really annoying because the puzzles aren't really that complicated, but when the puzzle game only has like one control, which is like the A button to interact, if I can't figure out a puzzle, there's not like that many different angles to attack it from. and so if I can't figure it out, I just kind of sit there stuck, not being able to figure it out. So I did end up using a walkthrough to really just kind of help me finish the game, which is, you know, a little annoying because I would have preferred to at least do a bulk of it with my own merit. But I just could not, like, literally every screen I would walk onto, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do here? I don't get this. So that's, you know, a little underwhelming. I probably am not going to have the highest opinion of the game, but it also is, like, a quality game, and I don't hold that much against it. Like, I feel like it's well designed, and I just wasn't, you know, great at it. And that happens. I was talking last week how puzzle games, I think, are starting to become a little bit of the bane of my existence, where I just love how they look, love how they play, except for when I get stuck, which just happens all the time. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Nothing really changed that much. The game did kind of just, like, end. Like, I thought we were building to, like, one more, like, big boss fight or something like that, and it didn't. It really didn't. Like, there was a couple, like, puzzles, and then it just kind of ended. I still have no idea what the story is about, or anything that I see on screen. No idea. Couldn't tell you a single thing. But it was neat. So that's my Cocoon spiel, I guess. And then I also am going to go on, like, a similar-ish tirade on Uncharted 2. So Uncharted 2, I did finish. That one I didn't need, like, a walkthrough per se, but I really did need to force myself to play it, because there was just a lot of sections of the game that I just wasn't really having fun. There were certain puzzle sections. Oh, there was actually some puzzles that I did have to look up because I didn't even understand what the game was trying to get me to solve. It only happened like once or twice, but I was like, I don't even understand what I'm supposed to be trying to do, which didn't help. But then I think the last puzzle in the game, it clicked and I didn't need to look anything up, so that was nice. And there was a couple of good combat encounters. I will say some of the combat encounters in Uncharted 2 feel like they last like forever. Like, I was having a fun time. There was some really cool, like, set pieces and places that you fight on, but then, like, the soldiers would just, like, keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and I'm just like, where's, like, the balance here? So that wasn't my favorite. I do think, like, visually, it's, like, the game is still really nice. Some of the, like, locations that you go to is really cool, and some of the things that you have to do. I do think that there are parts of the game that I do really like, and that I will probably remember fondly, even if in the moment I really struggled to play more than 1 to 2 chapters at a time. So I'm interested to see how playing, like, future Uncharted games is going to go. I was able to confirm that Uncharted 2, I basically had played the entire game before. I didn't realize it, but I think when I stopped playing, it was literally at the final boss. Because I remember, I was fighting the final boss, and I was like, I remember this, and I just remember not beating it. But this time I did beat it, also without help, which was nice. It was nice to just have a game that I didn't need to, like, follow a walkthrough with, so I liked that in compared to Cocoon, but there was also stretches of the game that just felt really, like, drawn out and not my favorite. So yeah, I'm not sure how I will feel about the Uncharted series moving forward, but they're on the list and I will continue to play them, and I did legitimately finish it, so I do have that. Before I bring up the new games that I started this week, I am going to touch in on Clair Obscur Expedition 33, just to give an update as to where I am at. This one I actually did decide to look up sort of, like, a walkthrough in the sense of not to guide me, but to see, like, the chapter titles and be like, how many more do I have to go? Because I knew what chapter title I was on. And so I was able to use that, and I think I only have maybe like 3 or 4 areas of the game left to go. I think I've heard that endgame levels is somewhere between like 45 to 50, and my characters are in the low 30s, and they are growing levels like pretty, like, you know, quickly. So I believe, oh, and I did get an achievement for getting like the last playable character, and then I've done like 2 areas since, so I do think that I'm rolling along. Clair Obscur is just slowly becoming like one of my all-time favorite games. It just straight up, it is the one thing that has like kept me going. Like when I was struggling with Cocoon and just being like, oh, I just have to like follow the walkthrough because I didn't want to drop the game. I knew I was so close to the end. I just wanted to finish it, but I wasn't having the greatest of time. And then I would like play Uncharted 2, and I would just like leave a gaming session feeling just like, ugh, like, man, I don't know if I love this. I was like, man, do I even like video games again? And I know that I already do, because some of the other games that I played earlier this year prove that I do. But I was just feeling a little bit like of a slog, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Clair Obscura is the one that really like helped push me through and like lift me out of that, because I'm just having such a fun time. I will say, I think people have like, you know, been saying how like the story is incredible and this and that, and like I don't really care that much about the story, I'm gonna be honest. It hasn't been as crazy as I think I was led to believe, and like while it's fine and I have no problems with it, I really just am addicted to like the gameplay, and I get excited anytime I'm finding like a new enemy or like a boss, or like even when I lose to a boss and I'm just like, okay, I was like, now I get to learn the timing, learn the patterns, and just like push through it, and I'm able to every time, and that's really exciting to me. So Clair Obscura really has been scratching that itch, and it has been fantastic. So I don't have much more to say, but I am working on that, and it might take a couple more weeks for me to, you know, like actually beat it, but I am putting some time into it pretty consistently, and so I don't think that it will. I'm not going to be playing it past June, would be my guess, which is good, because I would like to, you know, play some of the other new games that I still would like to play. But let's go ahead and go jump back to the backlog and start talking about the new games that I started playing. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is BioShock. So why is BioShock on the list? Well, BioShock's on the list mostly because I actually have played BioShock. It's one of the few games on this list that I have completely beaten, and I remember loving. The reason that I put it on the backlog is because at some point I bought it on Steam. It might have been as part of a bundle deal with like BioShock Infinite, or I'm not entirely sure. It might have been just a sale where it was like $1 and I knew that I liked the game, so I bought it. So I have the Steam version, even though I played it on the PS3, I believe. And I was like, I don't want to just let it sit in my Steam library. I'd love to play BioShock again and see how it holds up. So that is kind of why that is on the list. BioShock Infinite is a game that I played some of, but I did not beat. So I figured if I was going to play that, why not just play both? So that is why I put it on the list. And so far, my experience has been very up and down. I think when I started playing it, everything immediately hit back of just like, oh, I remember why I love this. I remember, like, you know, just the atmosphere, like the way that you're like guided through everything. Like it really is like a good, it's just really good. But I will say I was having a little bit of trouble. There's some parts of it that feel a little janky and like dated in a way that was a little frustrating. But once I kind of powered through that sort of mentality of like, oh no, am I not having fun, like yada yada yada, I kind of just pushed through that. It was a feeling that lasted for maybe like 10 minutes. And then on the other side of it, I'm just like, no, I was just playing poorly, and the game is great, and we're back on the up and up. One of the great things about BioShock for me, in terms of user friendliness, is even when you die, the enemies that you are fighting don't regenerate any health. So there was a situation that I was in where I ran out of ammo, I ran out of basically like everything helpful, and I was just like, man, how am I supposed to get past this like enemy or this like room? I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? But the game, you know, first off, it's like the enemies don't respawn health, so you can just die like a million times, but each time you can just like chip away, even if you're just smacking them with a wrench or something. So I did have something happen where it like spawned some enemies right outside, like some easy enemies that I was able to like beat up, and they dropped like a ton of ammo, a ton of health. So like the game is kind of just like beating you like, here, like don't get frustrated, don't give up, like keep going. So that was really helpful. And then the map's a little confusing, but there are sections where there is an arrow that will point you in the right direction, as well as you can get a hint from the map if you need a little bit more of a direct goal. So there's a lot of things that are user friendly about BioShock. I don't know if all of them were present in the original game or if there's something for the Steam version. I do know that there's BioShock Remastered, but I think I decided to just play the original because that's just what I wanted to play. So yeah. Overall, it is like, even if I'm interacting with it and not having a fun time in certain points, the game is doing everything in its power to set me up for success. And I think I am really sort of remembering why I really liked BioShock in the first place. So I think that's going to go well. I do expect me to probably play through it a little slower because it is a Steam game, so it's on my PC, and I feel like I've been doing less long sessions of sitting at the computer playing games. It has been something that I've had less of a desire to do, but I still will make sure that I put some time into it here and there, but I don't expect it to be the one that I like rush through very quickly. The one that I probably will is going to be the last game that we are going to talk about today, which is going to be Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. So, I'll go ahead into the spiel. Why is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on the list? Well, the reason that it is on the list is when I got my PS5, I got it as a bundle with Horizon Forbidden West, actually. But when I was able to actually purchase the PS5, because I had to like join a waitlist, I had to do the whole thing. But like once I was in, it like brought me to like a store page, and it was just like, okay, buy the system, and then you could like buy accessories or like a game or something like that. And I was like, well, if I already have access to buying like the system and like the bundle, I was like, I should buy another game to potentially play. And so I bought Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And then I never played it. I think when I got it, I just was playing Forbidden West, and then like another new game must have came out, and then I just got distracted. Maybe was doing YouTube stuff. It just kind of never got played. I bought it without a real intention to play it. I bought it as just like, oh, an option to play. But I never did. In terms of my history with the Ratchet & Clank series, at some point around, I remember playing either the second or third Ratchet & Clank game. I do not remember which one I had. I don't know if I still have it or not. I remember getting that as just sort of like a random purchase at like a GameStop. It was just like, buying some used games, and I think around that same time is when I tried like Jak and Daxter for the first time and like Sly Cooper for the first time. So it was like around those, but it wasn't when I was like a child. It wasn't like when they came out. It was probably like maybe 7 to 10 years like after they came out. So we're still talking like 15 years ago, but it wasn't when I was like a child. And I liked it, but I never beat that. And then there was a Ratchet & Clank sort of like remaster of the original game, or remake of the original game, that I think was on like the PS4, that I think it was on PlayStation Plus. Maybe it's like a free game or something. And I played it once, and with every intention to go back, I just never did. So I'm not sure what the disconnect with Ratchet & Clank has been. I think just when I've tried to play it, it has not been, I just have not been putting myself in the best circumstances to really actually want to sit down and play these games. It has nothing to do with, to reflect on the quality of the games, or if I never thought that they were like bad. I thought they were good. I just wasn't putting myself in a place to want to put in a lot of like hours into a game like that. But yeah, I don't know. Something about it just called to me this week, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just install and play this. It seemed like it'd be a nice, fun, easy time. I think especially after the Uncharted 2 and Cocoon fiasco, I really just wanted something like that was going to feel like a nice breather. And Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart has been that for sure. It's very easy to navigate. There's like objective markers that you can just like follow very easily. There's like a map. It's very simple. The game is obviously centered around like combat, with different guns and stuff like that. But essentially, you're just holding in like the fire like button and dodging like simple enemies. Like it's not complicated. It's not supposed to be complicated. The game has a lot of charm. It's very funny. I really like the humor in Ratchet & Clank a lot. And I actually did watch the Ratchet & Clank movie. That's my other experience with the Ratchet & Clank franchise. Is there was a movie a while back, and I did watch the whole thing of that. I think it was pretty good. I don't remember it super well, but I do remember liking it. So yeah, it's a fun time. I think the game said that I'm like 10% of the way through, which I did that in maybe like 2 hours or less. I haven't put a ton of time into it, but it's going to be a nice, relaxing game that I will be able to easily sink time into. So it is going well so far. So I think that is where I'm going to stop talking about that. And so now I can go ahead and preview the week ahead. Something that I did forget to mention in the recap is that the video, I uploaded a video that was ranking every Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track from worst to best, which is ranking 96 different tracks, and that is what I've been working on in the background. That has been taking some time away from recording my playthroughs and a little bit of backlog time as well. So that is over and done with, which means that I am going to really buckle down and get to work on finishing my Fire Emblem Sacred Stones playthrough. So that is going to be done pretty soon. I'm not that far away from the end, so I will be able to do that. So that playthrough is going to get finished up, and then I don't immediately plan to replace it with anything other than a new game that's coming out that you guys will see. It's not going to be over the next week though, so hopefully I can finish my Sacred Stones playthrough basically within the next week or 2 weeks. That would be ideal, and we'll see how close I can get to doing that. But in terms of backlog stuff, I don't think I'm close enough to the end of Clair Obscur to be able to finish that this week. I don't know if I'm going to put enough time into Bioshock to finish that. I will most likely finish Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And then if I do start a new game, I might start Nine Souls, so that would be fun. And I don't know about anything else. Other things that I'm really keeping my eye on is Life is Strange 2. I've also been thinking of playing the new game by that same developer, Lost Records Bloom and Rage, that came out earlier this year. There was 2 episodes, one that came out in like February, one that came out in May, I believe. Maybe it was April, but I think it's just those 2 parts, and I've been thinking of maybe playing those as well, because there are some new games that I have let slip by that I still would like to play before the end of the year, and this summer is kind of feeling like it might be a little light on games, especially June. So I think I might be all right to start playing one of those, but I'm hoping to maybe wait until I beat Clair Obscur until I start that, but I might jump the gun a little bit and play something like that. But who knows? So that's kind of what I'm keeping my eye on. I don't foresee me starting anything else in the near future. But yeah, Neo is something that I'm potentially interested in starting as my next like long game, because there was a PlayStation event over the past week, a state of play, and Neo 3 was announced, and I'm like, oh, I might be excited for that, but I don't know if I like the first 2. And Neo is something that I own. So I will probably be the next like long game that I attempt to start. So that is exciting. I'm not counting these Fire Emblem games at the bottom, because I will probably start one of these when I go on a trip at the end of the month, as well as I have a trip in July. So that is going to be sort of my gaming that is done while I'm not home. So not counting those, I think Neo is going to be the next like long game. And when I say long, I'm just saying like 40 plus hours. Everything else is still sort of fair game for whatnot. Disco Elysium is not on PlayStation Plus Premium anymore, but I still want to play it. So I think I'm going to end up buying that on Steam at some point and moving this to the Steam section and playing it on that, because I still want to play it. So that is a small update on that. That's probably not going to happen at any time in the next like month, but you know, I did think about looking that up. Because that was one of the games that I was worried would not still be available on the streaming platform that it was when I put this backlog together. I don't think I'm going to have any others that are going to leave. Everything else I either own or is very much like first party, you know, like Xbox isn't taking off like Dante's Inferno or Fable or Gears of War, you know what I mean? Nine Souls was in the camp of like they could take that away at any time. And so I'm really, once that's out, and I guess Inscription, I actually don't know if Inscription's still available anywhere, but I still want to play that, and that should be pretty cheap. Everything else, Life is Strange, I might have to purchase. Everything else I either own or, yeah, actually everything from down, I own, or it's like first party that they're not gonna take off of the streaming platform. So, yeah, we're chilling. We're looking good. Things are looking up. I'm hoping to really rekindle my love of gaming again after a kind of a rough week with some of the backlog games. I think Ratchet & Clank is going to help pull me out of that. Clair Obscur is going to continue to help me with that. I think Bioshock will help with that, and hopefully we just keep playing bangers from here on out. So that is where I'm at now. Hopefully I covered everything that I wanted to, but if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comment section. I always love to see comments and respond if, you know, if necessary, or if I'm able to. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Next week I will be back for week 24, so we're still not halfway through, which is good, because I still have a long way to go. But yeah, I'm excited as always to put more time into this backlog list and bring you these videos, so I hope you are enjoying. If so, let me know, but I will see you all next week. Goodbye.